What's up guys, it's Ryan and you're watching Ryan Vision. If you haven't already, make sure you like the video and subscribe for more. Check out projectzj.com. It's a website with all the YouTube videos about this Jeep, and you can search the videos on there, and also the videos are ordered in the date that they actually happened. So it's kind of cool. You can go on the site and you can go back in time and see, you know, when I bought the Jeep, how it looked back then, and then in what order I did all the modifications to it. Detailed videos on everything. So for those of you guys that have already been following the video series, I've got a couple updates today. The main thing I want to show you is I think it's the only mod I've done to the interior actually. I was going to say another mod, but I don't know that I've done anything else to the interior. Basically I got some 5.9 limited door panels. For those of you that don't know, the 98 5.9 truly is limited. You know, you hear a lot of vehicles say limited trim model and all that. There aren't that many 5.9s in the US that you can find in decent condition, so I was pretty lucky. I'll go into the whole story there. My buddy Niner Nate, you guys probably know him, especially if you're on Instagram. He hooked me up with a sweet deal on some Niner goodies. So that's the main point of today's video, but I'm also going to give you some other updates. If you've been following, you know I got new steering. I'm going to update you on that, let you know some of the things I'm still working out. Also, I've got some parts on the way from Rock Offroad, and also a couple updates on sponsor items. So let's get right into it. Alright, so the first thing I want to update you guys on is the new steering setup. Basically, it's a do-it-yourself kit from Rust Stuff Specialties, which is local to me. They're out of Loomis, California. I live real close to them, luckily. But, you know, basically you get the tubing, you get the heims, you get the tube adapters and all that. You cut, you measure, you cut, you weld yourself. And the steering kit's been great. You can see I've got high clearance on the tie rod there. It's over the knuckle setup. And you know, just a straight drag link, and both of them are 1.5 inch, 1/4 inch wall, so you know, really strong tubing. And then over on the passenger side there, so on your left side, I'm using Rough Stuff's new Y-link adapter, which basically allows you to bolt the drag link directly in to the tie rod. And you know, there's benefits there, and there's also, you know, downsides there. And the benefit is, on the driver's side, you basically have unlimited droop angle. It can just pivot on that right there where you see that bolt going through the tie rod that bolts the drag link onto it. That just lets the driver's side droop as much as it needs to. But the problem is, on the pitman arm, you can see the heim up there on the pitman arm. That's still going to limit your droop on the passenger side. I haven't really figured out a way to get around that yet. I'm actually thinking about doing limiting straps. Actually, I'm going to do limiting straps for sure, but I've actually even been thinking about bringing the front end down a little bit just to increase the angle on that pitman arm. And some people have been contacting me too, and you know, I love all the comments, you guys, whether it's on YouTube or Instagram, because you give me really good ideas. And actually one of my sponsors contacted me and said, you know, why don't you put a bend in your drag link to kind of eliminate the angle that you got going on the pitman arm. And that's a really good idea. Another thing, let me zoom you in on this piece over here. Another thing people have been talking about, my buddy Niner Nate's trying right now, is you can see how that bolt going through the drag link is pointing straight forward towards us. Right now he's got his flipped so it's actually up and down, it's vertical. And so that, again, it's going to take away that unlimited droop on the driver's side, because then you're going to, you know, run the risk of maxing out the angle on the misalignment on the heim over here. But, you know, you kind of got to find a point to where you say, okay, you know, this is a lot of droop. I don't need all 14 inches of suspension travel or whatever you're dealing with. And you just find a nice healthy point. You know, maybe it's 13 inches, maybe it's 13.5, maybe it's less than that. I don't know. We're gonna have to figure all that out. But you get some limiting straps in there, and then you're guaranteed that when you're out on the trail, you're not maxing out heim joint misalignments, which means you're putting pressure on something else, which means you might be bending bolts, you might break a bolt, you know, you might rip a steering box off if you're not running a steering box brace, things like that. So, you know, I've got a lot of concerns going into things like the Rubicon Trail. I want nothing to be maxed out. You know, if anything's going to be maxed out, it's going to be the tension on a limiting strap, because I don't want to be, you know, binding up Heim joints and things like that. So I'm going to find the perfect spot where nothing is maxed out. The other reason I'm showing you this close-up is right now the way that bolt's coming forward, when I start turning the steering wheel left or right, before it starts pulling the tie rod left or right, it actually wants to pull that tie rod up and down. It will kind of pivot on the Heim joints. They have a little movement even without misalignments. And tie rod roll is crazy. I mean, if you've never driven a Y-link setup with some decent tie rod roll, it doesn't feel good on the street. I mean, off-road's one thing, you're going slow on a trail climbing rocks, but when you're trying to go 65 or even 45 miles an hour and driving a straight line and then make turns with traffic, it's a little sketchy having a dead spot, because that's what it feels like when that tie rod's rolling. You basically are putting input into the wheel, but there's just this dead spot, and then when it catches, you know, it really catches, and the suspension kind of sways and everything like that. So couple things I'm going to try. I'm going to turn this joint so it's facing up. Niner Nate says that's working out pretty well for him, so I'm going to try that. He said it eliminated a lot of the roll, not all of it though. So he's got some ideas. I won't share those with you quite yet. We're going to test that out and see how it works on his rig. He had some additional ideas to limit the tie rod roll, so we'll see how that goes. If it works out well for him, then I'm going to try the same thing on my setup. Also, let me zoom in just a little bit closer, and if you see that plastic, that white plastic thing actually going through the knuckle there, that's called the Cure, and it's made by Rough Stuff. And you know, it's a great idea. It's awesome, I guess, for tie rod ends, but it's not for Heims. They even say, you know, do not use this for Heims. And basically it's broken now. I bought a couple of these and just wanted to try it out. It was too tight when I had one on the driver's side and the passenger side, and it was just perfect when it was brand new on the passenger side only, but you can see it's kind of chipped away, and so now that tie rod roll is back. So you know, looking into some other options, looking into possibly a metal version of this. But the thing is, it sounds like you still need to allow just a little bit of tie rod roll. So again, got to figure that out. Got to try Nate's idea out and just kind of play it by ear and see what happens there. So other than the tie rod roll issue, this steering setup has been awesome. I've been getting a lot of compliments on it. A lot of people have checked it out at like gas stations, stuff like that, and you know, wow, that's really cool. Even people that aren't into Jeeps, they're like, I've never seen anything like that, what is that, you know? So that's been pretty cool. You know, I wasn't sure about painting it white. Kind of stands out a lot. It's hard to keep clean, I'll tell you that much. So it's possible this may end up black at some point. Some of you guys have already predicted that, but for right now I like it. I'm gonna keep it white. For now I'm gonna paint that track bar black, and then I've got new springs on the way. So let's get into the springs. Alright, so right now I'm sitting on a brand new set of XJ 4.5-inch front springs, which equals probably about, I don't know, I guess it'd be about a ZJ 3.5-inch spring. I think that's how the conversion works here in the front. And I've had, if you guys have been following the videos, I've had so many springs on the front of this thing. I started out with a ZJ 3.5, then I got XJ 7.5, and that was perfect until I had to do some modifications to where the spring mounts to the front axle. It raised it up a little bit on the base, so then they were too tall. So then I got these 4.5-inch XJs, which were literally the same height as my ZJ 3.5s, but I threw them in there anyways. And what I've been running into is not just with the height. I can dial in the height pretty good now with these spacers, as long as I get a coil that's not too tall. But what I've been dealing with lately is the spring rate. These Rubicon Express springs, they're really like squishy. You know, not that they sag. Well, I mean, they don't sag height-wise over time. They're good springs, don't get me wrong, but they have a lot of body roll, and I know a lot of that's because of my sway bar, but basically what I'm getting at is the spring rate it's just not where it needs to be for a lifted Jeep on coil springs like this. So tried my buddy Nate's 4.5-inch ZJ front coils from Rock Offroad. They have a much firmer spring rate. I want to say they're up around 230 spring rate. I think these are like 170 or something like that. So they're a lot firmer. It should ride a lot better, and it should eliminate a lot of body roll even without the sway bar, and they're the perfect height that I can actually back these spacers up, and it should be perfect. And then, like I said earlier, going through the steering, I'm fine with actually bringing the front down, you know, an inch, maybe even a little more than an inch. I mean, it sits pretty high in the front, so I'm okay with coming down an inch, maybe a little more. I just don't want to be too unlevel with the back, you know what I mean? I want it to look good, but I want the steering angles to be right. So I'm waiting for the Rock Offroad coils, and also from Rock Offroad, and that's why it's taking so long, is I'm waiting on their belly pan or their belly skid to protect my 242 transfer case. So you can see right now that's the Rock Offroad long arm kit in the front with their subframe, their 3-piece subframe, and the belly pan, because you can see that 242 transfer case is just hanging down, it's really exposed. The belly pan is going to bolt to the rear of that subframe and then also bolt to the unibody frame. So that'll protect my transfer case, because I did hit my old 249 on the Rubicon Trail. I smacked it on a rock pretty good. It made everybody pretty nervous, but luckily we survived that one, because you can crack these things, guys. You know, you smack it hard enough, even with a hammer, you know, a decent sized hammer, these cases will crack. I've seen evidence of that at pick and pulls and stuff, so you got to protect this. So yeah, waiting on the IRO belly pan or belly skid, whatever you want to call it. I've been so happy with all my Rock Offroad stuff, and they stepped up to the plate again as a sponsor of Project ZJ, and you know, hooked me up with some great deals on some really awesome parts. So I'm just waiting for the springs to ship as soon as the belly pan is ready to go. So that'll be a cool add-on. Alright, so now the main reason that I wanted to do this video is to show you the new door panels out of a 98 5.9 Limited. Big huge thanks to Nate. You guys check him out, Niner Nate on Instagram. He's building he has a 98 5.9 Limited, and he's just building a monster right now. It was on, you know, like a 4.5-inch lift on 32-inch tires. It might have even been a 4-inch, I can't remember, but 32-inch tires. He made it through the Rubicon, you know, beat it up pretty bad. Rocker panels were looking like mine used to and things like that. And now he's just got this monster on full widths, you know, Dana 70 rear, triangulated 4-link, and Dana 60 front, doing all his own custom steering and custom links and everything. I mean, everything's been custom built. So you guys got to check that build out. The guy knows absolutely everything about ZJs in general, and also he's the 5.9 expert. He's my go-to guy. He knows it all. He knows what's compatible with the other Jeeps, what's not, what you got to do to make it work, things like that. So anyways, he hits me up. I'm at work one day, and it's a rainy day. I'm at work, and I start getting text messages. And guys, I'm sorry if it's windy. I'm trying to kind of block the wind here. But anyways, I'm getting text messages from him, and he's telling me, hey, I'm going up to Oroville. You know, I'm going to this junkyard. I'm going to get you some door panels, this and that. And so I kind of assumed he's going up there anyways for something else, or maybe he's getting something off this 5.9 for himself. And, you know, I'm going, well, I've kind of got a lot of money, you know, already in my Jeep before this Rubicon trip. I don't know if I want to spend any more. And he's like, don't worry about it. You need these door panels. I'm going to get them for you. You know, we'll figure it all out later. So he's got me all excited, you know, but again, I'm thinking he's going on this trip for something else. So turns out him and his wife are going to Oroville just to get these door panels, and it's raining where I am, but you know, they're driving like 2 hours each way in a hailstorm. And you know, Nate's wearing like 2 jackets pulling these things off of some Niner in the junkyard. So you know, that's just the kind of guy he is. He comes over and surprises me with a 5.9 grill. You know, you have a hard time finding those things for $200 on eBay, and he shows up at my house, walks into my garage, and hands me one for free. Like, hey man, Merry Christmas, check it out, I got you a Platinum 5.9 grill. So Nate, I really appreciate everything, man. You've helped me out so much with this rig, whether it's information or actually wrenching, or just getting these awesome 5.9 parts that are so hard to find. Just really appreciate it, bro. So this is what we got, you know. He hooked me up with these awesome, really good condition door panels. So the biggest change that I noticed from my original panels is mine right here is just like this big, it didn't have this wood, it just had like this big ugly perforated vinyl material there, and this was not leather or padded either, and mine had looked like a dog like attacked this or something. It had like a chunk missing, so all that's gone. It's got the seat memory. I haven't messed with that. I'm not even gonna mess with that because I've got some issues with my electric seat anyways. I don't want to push one of these and have it start adjusting itself, but I don't even know if that'll work. But all the switches came with the door panel. Those are all completely plug and play. Everything works fine. I've tested it all out. No problem with the door lock or anything like that. So it's got this nice rosewood trim here, and then the leather right below that, and on the armrest there. The other thing I noticed is this light's a little different too. You know, it's a reflector, and mine was just all red. This one from the Niner actually has a little white area there. The one thing I did have to do is on the speaker covers here, those are from my door panels. I don't remember exactly what Nate said happened. I guess they were just gone on these panels, and so it's pretty straightforward. Like if you run into that situation, just take your door panels off, which is really easy. There's a screw here, then you pop this off with a screwdriver. There's a screw there. You pop this panel off behind the handle here, there's a screw there, and you pop this guy off and there's a screw there. The rest is just push tabs around the outer edge of the door panel. So once you pop your door panels off, you'll notice on the back there's, I don't know, maybe like 8 tabs where that wire mesh actually goes through the door panel and then just bends back on itself to hold it in. You just unbend all those until they're straight, and then your speaker cover will pull straight out. It's a direct fit into the Niner door panels, pushes straight in, and then just bend them back until they're tight and it's not moving around at all. So next thing I'm gonna have to do is redo my stereo. I actually don't even have a speaker in this door. All the rest do, but they're kind of shoddy, so I'm gonna have to redo that. But yeah, it was plug and play, and I mean, I'm not gonna lie, at first I was going, man, this is gonna be a lot of work. You know, I got up the other day, I'm like, I wonder how long this is gonna take me. It really didn't take me much time at all. And believe it or not, this is the roughest door panel of the bunch. It's just got a little bit of fading up on the top, which I think I can fix. I'm gonna try to clean it first, and then if it's still a little faded, I'm gonna hit it with the heat gun. But check out this back one. This one's like pristine. So again, my speaker cover's in there, and this one does have a speaker in it, and just a really sweet add-on. Nice rosewood, and then that leather there with the little scrunch action, tuck and roll, whatever you call it. So it looks really good. It, you know, even with the cloth seats, it matches. It was the same color gray on the plastic, and it just looks nice. You know, this is an off-road rig, and you go to get in it and you're kind of like, wow, you know, this is pretty nice. This is comfortable. So here's another shot of the front one up there, and I have to say, like, it matches pretty well with the factory wood that came with my Laredo. So I'm not even changing out the wood trim on the dash. I actually have the pieces for the driver's side, and I've got some contacts I could get this piece you're looking at on the passenger side, but I'm not even going to do it. Some of the other 5.9 specific parts are the shifter handle for both the transmission and the transfer case, also the emergency brake handle, and I am getting a cup holder thanks to one of my Instagram followers. He's sending that for free, so I've been calling him my cup holder sponsor, and all I had to do is pay $10 shipping on that. That reminds me, I got to do that when I get back home. But anyways, it's a rubberized cup holder insert specific to the 5.9, so that would be a sweet mod, because I've spilled plenty of sodas and drinks and stuff in here. So, but yeah, you know, my little AutoZone wood grain steering wheel goes nice with the dash and then ties right into the door panels. So it's a really sweet setup. Now in the rear, it's just as simple. It's actually more simple than the front. Let's see, you got one tab right here that just pops out with a screwdriver. You got a screw there, and then right here this pops out with a screwdriver. You got a screw there, and then all the rest are the little push clips. And the best thing I can tell you with the push clips is try to pull straight out. Don't go at an angle or you're going to break them. Try to go straight out. And between your old door panels and the new set, hopefully you'll have enough of those clips that if you break a couple, it's no big deal. You'll just swap some out from the other panels that you already had. So let me walk you over. Since we're checking stuff out, you know, might as well walk over to this side and give you a close-up of these ones. So this one's in great shape too. The only thing with this, which is going to be a real easy fix, is there's like some white paint here. It looks like maybe some overspray or something here. That's going to come off real easy. I think it's called like goof off or something. I'll just use a little bit of that, wipe that right off. That won't be a problem at all. So again, the switches work. And here's another shot of the front panel. Awesome condition. Now you can kind of see better the sun hitting that wood grain trim. It's awesome. And these switches all work as well. Got my speaker cover in there. So it looks really good. I like it a lot. So thanks again, Nate. Really appreciate that. The Jeep's really coming together. Excuse me. And I'll keep you guys posted. I'm just waiting on the IRO stuff, like I said. And then once I have the front springs, I'll have my height figured out. I'll let them settle for a little bit, and then I will dial my steering back in. You know, I'll have to readjust the drag link to get my steering wheel centered back up, things like that. So I'm looking forward to that, looking forward to less body roll, looking forward to the skid plate protection underneath to protect that transfer case. And you know, if the springs work out really well up front, I'll probably get IRO springs in the back as well. So I'm really excited. I mean, you know, May's right around the corner, doing kind of a father-son thing, and going with all the friends up to the Rubicon. So I'm going to finally get to load up this roof rack with all the lightweight stuff, you know, the tents, the sleeping bags, all that kind of stuff, and head up the hill and have a good time. So I'll keep you guys posted when the stuff gets here. I'll do another video. Thanks a lot for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and check out projectzj.com. Alright guys, have a good one.